Hello and welcome to Pushing Back, Ukraine Daily Brief. As the war enters its 841st day, these are the main developments from the past 24 hours. Russia has lost approximately 524,060 troops in Ukraine since the beginning of the war, the General Staff of Ukraine's armed forces reported. The number, which has not been independently verified, includes 1,250 casualties over the past day. According to the released Ukrainian figures, Russia lost 8 tanks, 26 armored combat vehicles, 48 artillery systems, 2 multiple launch rocket systems, 3 air defense systems, 22 drones, 1 cruise missile, 60 vehicles, and 16 pieces of special equipment. Lithuania has sent an aid package consisting of 14 M113 armored vehicles. The International Fund for Ukraine will provide a new military package worth more than €350 million. The support goes to the supply of 152mm artillery shells to Ukraine. The IFU was founded by 9 countries: the United Kingdom, the Netherlands, Australia, Denmark, Iceland, Lithuania, New Zealand, Norway, and Sweden. The update from the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. The enemy launched 87 combat clashes. The Russians carried out 54 airstrikes, including 73 anti-aircraft missiles on the territory of Ukraine. They also used 613 kamikaze drones and carried out 2,500 attacks on the positions of Ukrainian troops and settlements using various types of weapons. In its latest intelligence update, the UK's Ministry of Defence reports the Russian military has been putting various groups fighting for them in Ukraine under a single leadership. This includes volunteers, reservists, mercenaries, and even ex-convicts. These groups are not well equipped for major attacks and have been suffering heavy losses. A detailed map showing the latest situation on the ground in Ukraine has been published by the UK Defence Ministry. There has been no major gains noted in the last week. In its latest intelligence update, the Institute for the Study of War. Ukraine signed bilateral 10-year security agreements with the US and Japan on June 13 as other partner states reaffirmed their long-term support for Ukraine within the Group of 7 and Ramstein formats. The US finally sanctioned the Moscow Exchange, other significant Russian financial institutions, and Russian defense manufacturers 839 days into Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. The Russian government appears confident that these new sanctions will minimally impact the Russian financial system, and the delay in US and other Western countries sanctioning these entities has given the Russian financial system time to prepare and mitigate such sanctions. US President Joe Biden reiterated his opposition to allowing Ukrainian forces to strike military targets in Russia's operational or deep rear areas in Russian territory with US-provided weapons. Sustained Ukrainian strikes against Russian military targets in occupied Crimea appear to be forcing the Russian military to commit additional air defense assets to Crimea in order to defend existing bases and logistics infrastructure, and further Ukrainian strikes against such air defense assets may render the peninsula untenable as a staging ground for the Russian military. The People's Republic of China is reportedly using diplomatic channels to convince other countries to not support the upcoming June 15 to 16 Global Peace Summit in Switzerland. The US, United Kingdom and Canada released a joint statement on July 13 acknowledging and condemning Russian subversive activity and electoral interference efforts in Moldova, which is consistent with ISW's long-standing assessment of the Kremlin's ongoing hybrid campaign to destabilize Moldovan democracy. Russian federal subjects continue to increase monetary incentives to recruit military personnel. Ukrainian forces recently advanced north of Kharkiv city and Russian forces marginally advanced near Siversk and Avdiivka. During his visit to Italy, Zelensky met with the G7 leaders. He covered several points. Firstly, the summit primarily focused on military needs and capabilities, with significant discussions on expediting the delivery of defense packages to Ukraine. There was a strong emphasis on increasing air defense systems and other necessary supplies for the front, with commitments from several countries, including the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, Japan, and Italy. Key decisions included utilizing Russian assets for Ukrainian benefits and securing additional support in terms of fighter jets and pilot training from the United States. Secondly, has achieved significant progress in securing security agreements with major global powers. Notably, a historic bilateral security agreement with the United States, which includes long-term support and assistance during both wartime and peacetime, was highlighted. Additionally, a promising security accord with Japan, marking the first such agreement with a non-NATO country, was signed. In total, 7 security agreements with G7 countries and 17 agreements overall have been signed, with more in preparation. Lastly, discussions were also held with the IMF and the World Bank to secure economic support for Ukraine. These talks included ensuring access to funds for restoring and building new energy capabilities and supporting state institutions and society. The importance of global cooperation in the Peace Summit was emphasized, aiming to engage international leaders and states in efforts to restore justice and achieve a just peace. Thanks for following today's updates. Please don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. We'll return tomorrow with the latest news on the ongoing conflict.